You're listening to KODZ in the morning. I'm Scary Steve, and
I'm Freaky Frank.
Let's get down to business.
Welcome back. That was very intimidating. I've weirdly never been more nervous to start an episode of this show. Mia just said before we started recording, I need you to come up with an alliterative name. And then I was like, do you want me to tell you now? She was like, you'll know your cue. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I brought this up like a minute before we started.
Literally.
Just like, hey, I got a bit.
I got an opener.
Welcome back to Closing Shift, episode 14.
Yeah, that's older than your man. This one that fell flat.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was bad.
This show's old enough to vote.
Yeah, right? 14's the one, right?
Yeah, of course.
This one's old enough to drive on some roads, if the cops don't know.
I've known people that were like, that they drove without a license. They just straight up, they just didn't have a license at all, but they would still drive. And I was like, that's just an unconscionable thought in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, what? You know how much jail you're getting if you get pulled over?
How much jail the cops are gonna give you when you get pulled over?
Yeah.
It's so much jail.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be in so much jail.
Roll the dice, you pay the price.
I think that's we should just start calling trouble jail.
Yeah.
Oh, mister, you're in big jail.
Dude, mom's gonna be so jail if you tell her. Stop. Don't tell her I broke your leg. She's gonna be so jail. I think Brian Regan had a bit where he was like playing with his siblings in the yard and they like broke something. He was like, oh, like one of us has to be the one to go inside and like debrief the mom to like tell them. And he's like,
yeah,
okay, mom, I just need you to calm down, okay? I just need you to know that everything's okay? But Jimmy broke his arm, okay? So we just need you to take us to a hospital, mainly Jimmy. It's just really funny. Like, I love that 1997 Brian Regan show. It's so funny. It's the same one where he's like, the bit about the science fair where he's like,
yeah.
They're like, what did you make, Brian? He's like, it's a cup full of dirt. I call it a cup of dirt.
Well, explain it.
Well, you see, I took the dirt and I put it in the cup.
That is like the first
so
Brian
funny.
Regan thing that I ever saw because somebody made a
Same.
flip note of that. It was like that and like one other bit, and I didn't know about like Brian Regan until like many years later. But then like I saw like his stand up just like got recommended to me, and I was like, oh my god, it's Cup of Dirt. That was like I would quote that so much as a kid. Me and my siblings.
Like, yeah, for sure. Around the time, I don't know why it started like at this time, but when I was like playing golf as a 12-year-old.
Wow, you got a fucking private jet too?
Yeah, well, I didn't ask to be born into a white ass family. My bad. I also didn't want to play sports at all as a kid because.
Sorry, this whitey tighty skin reflects all your hatred.
Sorry, this skin is so pristinely tight around my bones. But it was when my dad would take me to and from tournaments. I don't remember what like the validity of what we were doing was. We would just go to golf courses and play, and there was like 4 of us. I'm not even sure it was like a professionally set up thing. It was probably like a Facebook club.
Found him on Groupon.
He would play stand up in the car, so that's how I like heard John Mulaney, Jim Gaffigan, Brian Regan, like all for the first time. And I have to say, I'm thankful that Dave Chappelle was never one of them, because I don't like him now, and it would have been harder to not like him now if I liked his stand up like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But Kevin Hart, I got into. I should not have been listening to Kevin Hart at the age I was, because he was doing stand up about very like specific issues to him, and I was just like acting like I related to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my dad was how I discovered a lot of stand up comics, and Brian Regan was definitely always one of my favorites. I like how chill Brian Regan's been over time.
Yeah, he's just always just good.
Just a little guy.
He always had like good comedy that like very good about like not like punching down ever. Was always very nice, like very like it's comedy that
Right.
you could just enjoy as a whole family, but it's not like, like childish. Not it's like you can enjoy it at any age.
Right. He has, I assume he has kind of the same policy that I've heard like Ninja Sex Party has, which is like, we'll make fun of only ourselves and never like other people or other groups of people.
Yeah, that's a good policy to have.
I heard Dan say that one time, and they've held that, and that's why I love them too. And they also love Brian Regan, so that makes sense. Even though Aaron was like the fanboy when they got him on Guest Grumps. And then they had Weird Al, so they had like each of their heroes comedically and musically.
Yeah, they've had a crazy amount of guests over the years. That being, Brian Regan, Weird Al, for however disgraced he is now, Michael Ian Black, Steve-O, all kinds of good guests.
And they had Jacob Anderson.
Yes, Jacob Anderson.
He was like one of the top tier ones.
I almost feel like he's not worth
Game
considering
Grumps.
as a guest Grumps, just because he like might as well just be like the third Grump.
Oh yeah.
That's like it's not like when Weird Al comes on and he's got to adjust to the whole thing. Like Jacob Anderson was like a fan of him. He was like a fan of Game Grumps like before he went on the show.
It's the same thing with like Finn Wolfhard. He became like a part of the Grump crew at a certain point. He was in like multiple he used to just hang around the office literally. Like
yeah.
I love that for him.
Yeah, there's just like a creative space for a lot of that.
It's like that time I got to hang out in Markiplier's house, although he didn't know I was doing that.
I lived in one of his many ovens.
I am a man who owns 5 ovens.
I love also when I think it was he was like talking about getting some appliance with Bob and Wade.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, why don't you just get this cheap model?" He's like, "I'm Markiplier, bitch.
I was gonna
I don't have the money."
I was gonna reference the same thing. He was like, "You think I'm gonna get some cheap appliance? I'm Markiplier, bitch."
Yeah.
And I love that diva status for him. I love it. It's fucking hilarious.
You know that his current house is the former house of Childish Gambino.
Really?
Yeah. It's like one of the most expensive houses in California.
I mean,
I don't know if that's just because of the land or like whatever.
It does look like a nice little house. It doesn't look too crazy big because we've seen like most of it.
He's got it like he doesn't seem to like spend out of his range though. It's a lot of times people will judge like a celebrity for having like a really like expensive house and whatever. It's like that house is basically like a second bank. If their career goes under and they lose everything, they can just sell that and continue to live the rest of their life on normal means.
Oh yeah. I mean that's
why so many celebrities, aside from the ones who are hype beasting the fuck out of everything and want like a million mansions, fucking Drake style. For a lot of people, getting a big expensive house is like as much of an investment as it is like a personal spend.
Yeah, I mean like I always had the policy, at least to some degree, that I've always just wanted like a pretty chill suburban house. I don't really plan on leaving the state I live in ever because I don't really have a reason to. There's never been another state or country that I've looked at and been like, I'd so much rather live there than here. And I like a lot of houses I've lived in here. So if I just had a house like those, this is hypothetically if I was YouTube successful also. Like if I'm making money like that.
When you are sexful and you will buy a Neo Geo.
That's so true. I'd buy a Neo Geo. I'd be homeless, but at least I'd have my Neo Geo. But that just made me, side note, that just made me like imagine Mr. Beast. I gave an entire school Neo Geos. But anyway, yeah. It's always been a policy of mine. Forgive me, I'm moving something. I always knew, I mean, I'm thankful I had this moral standing in like my teens, because pretty much the idea of having a bunch of YouTube money was like one of the most morally competent things I ever thought about for my future, other than wanting a relationship. But I'll be very comfortable in life if I can just have a partner, a nice house that's like not too big. Also, having a big house would drive my OCD fucking nuts because I'd have to fill the whole thing and it would piss me off.
Oh yeah.
And even this apartment I live in is like a great size. Like I could just live in an apartment like this, to be honest. But I do want a house one day because I want like dogs and I want them to have a place to like run around, because my sister has that and we always bring our dog over there and she loves running around because she's a psycho, but she loves it and I love that for her. I'm kind of rambling, but just like last thing about that, I guess I always like prioritized that if I ever got successful on YouTube, my money would mostly be invested in making my content better and prioritizing charity events throughout the like year in general, and making sure my ass and my family's asses were covered through as much of my money as I could do that with. My friends too, but I didn't I didn't have friends like back then. Like now, like the friends I have now, I would do that with, even though a lot of them have their own success, which is fine too. I'm not gonna just like give them money if they don't want it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna judge them for
I'm not.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I want success, but I want success so that I can be dependable and also help those around me, including charity events. I have said this a million times, but like the thing that got me into really wanting to do YouTube and make money off of it was Markiplier raising a bunch of money for charity. I remember seeing his video come up in my sub feed that he got put on his local news for raising a bunch of money for charity. And I was like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
that was way back in the day.
I know. And that was like stunning to me. That's what made me want to do the charity stuff at first. And then I did Thinkmas in 2020 with Jacksepticeye, and I raised $500 over 12 hours. And that was cool too. I also raised $200 over the summer, or at the beginning of the summer. Okay, sorry, my track stopped in the middle of what I was saying, but my mic audio is back. Anyway, yeah, you should do some talking now. I've been talking for a while. Do you have you ever thought about what you'd do with your fame money eventually?
Yeah, I think it is a nice thought of like being able to have a level of success that allows you to do some good in the world. That is a very nice thing to have. I think other than that, though, my standards are pretty low when it comes to like what level of anything would need to be achieved for some level of satisfaction and happiness out of it. Because as long as I just have all my basic needs met, you know, the standard Maslow's hierarchy, I think beyond that point, the only thing that I want in terms of like a living space is like, do I have room to put everything where I don't have to like go digging through boxes to find what I'm looking for? Like if as long as there's a place for everything and like a space for activities, I'm fine. I don't care if my bedroom at that point is like a shoebox. As long as like I have like a space for activities and a place to put things, I'm fine.
Same.
I'll probably get like a fish tank. I still want fish.
The only crazy expense I would buy is an entire aquarium full of giant megalodons for my house. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
Oh man, they just figured out that megalodons were actually bigger than we thought, and this is huge news.
What? This is megalodon news.
You're listening to the Megalodon News Network. Yeah, it's like, I still want to have fish. I still really like the idea of just having a fish tank with a couple fish in it out here. The problem is that it gets so egregiously hot out here during the summer that like there's not really a reliable way.
Boil.
Yeah, it's like there's not like a reliable way to like keep a fish tank cool. And I could just get fish that live in hot water, like warmer water, but that water would need to be like 90 and above at all times then. So like my options are either don't have fish because I can't get the tank cool enough in the summer to be comfortable, or have fish or something that is going to require constant heating. And it's like, it's just out here, it's just too much to handle for that. It's a lot easier to heat a tank than cool a tank.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I've had a few fish in my lifetime. We had like this one, like we had like a family goldfish for a real long time, like many, many years. It was a huge goldfish. I think it was called Nemo, maybe. Actually, I don't know. But yeah, we had like just this fish, and it had like a tooth, and it ate orange slices. It was fucking crazy. And then like beyond that, I think I had one other fish of my own that sadly did not live long because my parents got expired fish food. So I had it wasn't a goldfish. It like kind of had like a black coloring to it, like a purpley black coloring to it. It kind of looked like a goldfish. I think I called it Midna after Twilight Princess. I still like the idea of having a fish.
That's what I call my wife.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fish wife.
Do you prefer what's like the terms for like the debate between fish head, woman bottom, woman top, fish bottom? What is the term? There's like
was like mermaid or woomer. I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah, there's like some. Oh man, I wish I could remember. But I've seen a debate over that before.
Fish head, woman bottom.
Yeah, like which would you prefer? And it's like I don't know why you would prefer the fish top, but
yeah, that's like the
some
hardest
people have
part to
defended
get
that.
over.
It's like why would I not want her legs?
Yeah, it's like that's like the whole thing of mermaids for whatever reason. Is like the tail is like a big like selling point of that because like it moves around seductively. Wow.
I want to be squeezed between her tail.
me slide up on those scales.
I want to eat out your scales. Show me your scales. Come on, show
There
me
is
your
that
scales.
famous picture of Markiplier from Unis Honest where they did like the mermaid tail video, where at the end of it, like he put on, like he had a tail on his legs, but he also had the tail up over his arms and like his chest, so he was just like the murmur. I think about that. That's the ideal. Like the
Markiplier.
reverse cat dog mermaid.
That's
It really was
crazy.
just like a weird era of cartoons, stuff like Cat Dog and like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, they invented like a whole new genre.
I think it was all just like it's like some Fallout level shit. Just like, what new creature can we come up with here?
I would argue that it's very Dark Souls-esque or Resident Evil, because both of those franchises have created creatures that I cannot explain why I hate them, but I hate them, and they're just so disgusting to look at and hear the noises of, because most of them just like groan or slime around because they're weird, slimy
the
creatures.
worst is like the one that I hate, I think the most out of Dark Souls 3, being in the graves in front of the Cathedral of the Deep. There's like these like pale zombies that just kind of like they die in one hit, but there's like one version of it that has this like other zombie sticking out of its chest. So it's like this almost like lowercase h shape, where it's like normal zombie sticking out of its stomach is a second zombie that's like made out of worms. And if it attacks you, it fills you with worms, and it's like, I hate that one.
Sounds lit. Sounds hot. The only one I have in my head, like I thought about it immediately when I started talking about this, but I think of I don't know if it was like a frog or whatever.
Oh, the basilisks?
But the one that does not mean anything to me. I was going to say the thing from Resident Evil 8, and when we played it, I talked about how gross it was, but it was like some kind of frog
Oh,
thing
you're talking about
that you
Moreau?
fought in like a canal again.
The boss fight
doesn't,
of the fish man?
I think so, but it was like huge, and it didn't look like a man in any way.
He transformed.
I think that's what it was.
That would probably be Moreau.
I just remember him looking really froggish.
Yeah, let me see if I can like pull up a picture for you and see if that's like, let's see. How the fuck do you spell Moreau? Oh, it's like EAU.
Gotta put mud.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's probably it. Let me send this your way. Oh, yep, there's bird balls. Is this your card?
I think so.
Nasty guy with a bunch of every Resident Evil bosses always have so many eyeballs.
That's just like, I don't get it. Like, what substance do you abuse that makes y'all think of shit like that?
It's just scary. I don't know. You see people like it's like, what's his name? Junji Ito. He makes all the horror stuff. He is like the most upbeat, cheerful, happy person, and like his whole life is just sunshine and rainbows, but his work is like Junji Ito. It's like the most horrifying shit. He draws like these like terrifying concepts and like all the stuff like this hole is made for me, and like necks stretching through vents and things like that, and like the spiral face, and he's like the happiest person, and he like sees everything as so joyful and wonderful. And people like to like contrast it a lot with Miyazaki from Studio Ghibli, that he's makes all these worlds that are like so happy and positive and cheerful, but he hates everything. So the one who makes all the like terrifying shit is the one who's the happiest, and the one who's miserable all the time and hates everything is the one making these like wonderful worlds.
Yeah. Making movies is a hell of a drug, and not it's like a depressor.
Famously, Miyazaki walked out of the test screening of his own son's movie. That is a bitter man.
I thought at first you meant like walked out when it was done. I was like, of course he walked out.
Yeah.
But I meant that also. I thought you were gonna say, yeah, Miyazaki walked out of the test tube and they were like, we've lost subject 0. And then, I don't know why. That's just where my brain went immediately. Yeah, that's hard though. That's cold.
Yeah, because like, it was like his son was making like an animated movie under that studio, and he just like had such an insanely high standard for him he was like, this is not how like the legacy will be carried on. This is an embarrassment.
Bro, what? That's cringe.
Yeah, he's like
Relax.
so hard on his own son. It's crazy.
Like, who are you?
Who are you, Hayao Miyazaki? That's the fun thing, is that Miyazaki is also the name of the creator of Dark Souls 3, but that's a different Miyazaki. And I don't remember his full name. Because Hayao Miyazaki is Studio Ghibli.
I think it's Jorge Miyazaki.
Yeah, Jorge Miyazaki, that's it.
Right?
I think it's like like starts with an E. Dark Souls Miyazaki. Gotta look this up. What is his name? Hidetaka Miyazaki.
Look this up. Look this down.
Google's up, Google's down. I keep searching. What?
Keep Googling.
Google images.
What was it? Did you find it? What was his name?
Hidetaka Miyazaki.
Hidetaka.
Yeah, he's
Also,
a taka.
That I was showing this reminded me. I was showing Mia this TikTok before we started. I don't know what it's from. It's clearly from some like movie or some shit, but it's just this clip of like a wife trying to get her husband to play Stardew Valley, but he's playing like League, and she's like, "Oh, honey, you have to try this crab."
Yeah.
And he's like, "If I wanted the crab, I would have ordered the goddamn crab." And then he's like, "All right, fine, fuck it." And then he plays Stardew Valley. He's like, "Oh, god damn it, that's better than what I ordered."
Yeah.
They got like classic New York accents. It's a very funny clip.
I do like Stardew Valley. I was telling you about this before we started. That's like, I want to continue it, but it's just takes so long.
Mia finished a full year cycle in the game is what she's talking about.
It's like a 32-hour year, and there's people who have played it for years.
So many hours, like 8 times a million.
So long. I mean, when you're only streaming it for like 4 hours at a time, it takes like a month to get through a year. I have so many other important games to play, like Fallout 4 for a couple hours before refunding it on stream.
You played Fallout 4 and then refunded it?
Yep.
You didn't like it, or you just beat it and then refunded it?
Did not like it. They somehow managed to fix the one thing. The one thing that was wrong with Fallout New Vegas was that the shooting was kind of janky and shit. And so then in Fallout 4, they fixed the shooting and broke every other functional mechanic. Like menus, shit. Dialogue trees, shit. Questing and like just the layout of the world, shit. It just became a nightmare. And like, they added so much new bloat, like a Rust style like base building system for like these new settlements that need your help. But the menus of them are so terrible and don't really make a lot of sense, and they don't really have good tutorials. And so it was just immediately I was like, whoa, like I can actually do combat in this game. The combat is fun. And then everything else about it was shit. So it's just reverse New Vegas. I'm going through the Fallout series now, and it's like, you know, like Goldilocks got it right on the first time, and every other bed she tries to lay down in is like, you know, starting New Vegas is like, this one's okay, I guess. Move on to 3. This one's, oh god, that bed's made of nails. Move on to Fallout 4. This one's, that's also made of nails. And I'm at this point going back to the 90s games, because I like the world, but like the gameplay of these have been insufferable.
Never played a Fallout game. I would have no idea. I just know that people really like 4. It's probably just a thing you have to be into.
Well, it's because 4 has the most modern mechanics. It like functions more like a modern game than the rest of them. And like it looks like a modern game still to this day. So like a lot of people, that's probably like their first one. That's like the game that came out after Skyrim. So people were already familiar with Skyrim, and this functions kind of like that.
Yeah. I've retroactively explored a lot of games like that. Like I am quite literally at the final boss fight with Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild. I have attempted 2 different sessions of doing that fight. I cannot figure out how to hit him in the like 3rd or 2nd phase. I can get there in like 2 minutes or less now, but in his like 2nd phase where he's all red, I cannot figure out how to hit him, but I will eventually.
Would you like advice on it?
Sure.
The best ways to do like the way to trivialize the fight is ancient arrows. But to actually do damage to him, he has a specific weak point that you have to target. And if you don't want to target that weak point, try to just flurry rush.
Well, yeah, no, that's not the part I have trouble with. I have trouble when I get past that and then he turns all red and then you can't hit him with normal attacks. And I don't have any guardian arrows at that point. And I don't even know if they would work. But at that point, well, you also do, yeah, you have to flurry rush. I don't know if I haven't seen if he has a specific weak point during that part. I haven't found that. I was able to flurry rush a little bit, but also I made like a ton of food in the castle. There's like one room where they have like a bunch of food on the floor, and they expect you to make it all before the fight. So I'm saved like
what weapon?
I'm saved like right at the door of the temple. So every time I go back to the save after dying, I just walk in and do the fight and start the fight again.
What weapon does he have in that second phase?
He still just has his spear. He also throws ice cubes at you sometimes. He also throws fireballs sometimes. He also just like hits you on the ground sometimes. He has like 3 guardian weapons that he could possibly hit you with that give you opportunities to flurry rush, which I've gotten a lot better at flurry rushing because of guardian tests of strength. But I don't know. I think the biggest issue I have with the fight is I'm more so in the mood to just finish it than I am to do it.
Yeah.
Because I played through the entire game in like a week or 2, and I held off on this boss fight for literally like 2 weeks also. So now that I'm coming back, I'm like looking forward to beating it because then I can move on to other games. Like, again, I have too much OCD to like not finish a game with a story and then just like start another one. Especially as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. And I also I just want to say this was a very clarifying thing for me, but last week, the day after we filmed episode 12,
last week would have been 13.
Cool. After we filmed that episode, I just got reminded of something I wanted to say on the show, but I saw my psychiatrist and got an official OCD diagnosis, which is very validating because it's everywhere in my life. And I kind of figured I had it, but I don't self-diagnose because none of us, anybody should ever self-diagnose because that's
you should
not
self-diagnose to the level that you
medically
seek
accurate.
A real diagnosis.
Yeah, if you have symptoms of something, then you should like talk to your doctor. But
you should self-analyze, do not self-diagnose.
Yeah, don't tell people you have something if you haven't been diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
Don't like treat it as like your quirk, like it's my hero. That's not how it works. like oh my gosh, I'm so OCD. Oh my gosh, my ADHD is crazy. If you're not diagnosed, then you're just being completely senseless to people who really have those things. The thing I was gonna say on the show though was I have to do this in like a mythical voice, but I was gonna be like, we're talking to you from the past. It's May for you and April for us.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be fucking May this week.
Oh my god, this year is passing so fast.
May the Cinco be with you. Who's ready to eat an entire jar of mayonnaise on Cinco de Mayo?
Me.
Me.
I love mayo.
I don't actually. I can like tolerate it on sandwiches because I've had it a couple of times, but it's definitely not a go-to for me. But also I was gonna continue the thing about games for a second because like I got so part of the thing that made going back to Breath of the Wild hard is starting last week going into this week I have been really, and I'm not really like proud to admit this, but I've been revolving my life in terms of media consumption almost entirely around playing Rainbow Six Siege with my couple of friends who play it, and also watching One Piece because I'm in Alabasta and I'm about to finish Alabasta. I will have finished it by the time this episode comes out. And if you want to know my opinions on it, I don't talk about One Piece publicly, so I'm sorry, too bad. But I did not expect how crazy Alabasta was, I will say. But like I just started playing R6 and then started getting really a lot better at it. And there's something about the gameplay that keeps me hooked, even though some of the usernames and chats and stuff are obviously terrible.
Yeah, it's one of those like
Chandler's been playing Rainbow Six since like 2019, and there's still some usernames that he's like, whoa.
It's one of those PvP enabled zones, but not in-game PvP.
I mean, the best thing you can do about it at this point is just report them, and their like reputation will go down so they get put in matches with also terrible people. Because I have a reputation in the game right now that's like exemplary, which is like the best one. And most of the time, my matches are fine. Like nobody chats or like people just have normal chats where they're just like communicating.
I love it
in-game.
when games have a reputation system. That means that if you are shitty or you cheat, then you are only going to get paired with other people who are shitty and cheaters.
Yeah. That's
That
the
is,
funny thing,
you get to lay
too.
in the bed you made.
Yeah, you basically are ever only going to report people in Rainbow Six for griefing, cheating, or abusive chats and stuff. Like, there's literally people who will be like in the chat. Like, I was playing this morning, just like a little bit warming up before we started the show, and somebody literally just like called out my shitty KD every single round as it got worse, and was just like, 0-3 is crazy. 0-4 is crazy. And it was like, nice, bro. Did you come up with that one all by yourself? But I never chat back because every single hate thing I ever get, I'm like, they want a reaction out of me. They want to fight, and I'm not going to give them one because they're not worth it. Like, it's like when transphobes comment on my stuff, I'm always like, okay, well then I'll just delete that TikTok and post it on Reels or YouTube Shorts. I'm not going to deal with this bullshit. I really don't care. Like, if you're transphobic, congratulations. But that doesn't make you any better than any other person who's a hater of some kind of group of people. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really is like the worst thing that you can do. And this applies to literally every single political side. It doesn't matter like if you're left-leaning, right-leaning, centrist, whatever you are. The worst thing that you can do for everybody is to just engage with the people you don't like.
Yeah.
If you are purposefully engaging with people that you know that the only reason why you're interacting with them, the only reason why they're interacting with you is because of a mutual hatred, you are doing nothing good for anybody.
Yeah.
You're not like there's no personal victory in like responding to hatred from a different political side. You're just like adding fuel to a fire. It does nothing for anybody.
Right. And I mean, this is as far as I'll go publicly about talking like stuff like this, is that I'm not saying I'm better than people who hate me. I'm just saying that like, I'm just, as a public figure of some kind, I'm just saying that I'm never going to like respond to hate comments. Like, Game Grumps have talked about it before. Like, I'm not fucking responding to that, because that's like talking shit back to a middle schooler who calls you gay. Like, it's so dumb. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like,
Who called me sugar gay?
I forgot about that clip. Who called me sugar gay? I'll kick your fucking ass. I'll kiss you. I'll literally kiss
Come
you.
at me, scrub lord, I'm ripped.
I'll kiss you. What, you want to have sex? Yeah, I'll have sex.
Yeah.
It's just like, part of that is, I mean, maybe I'm better for it. Maybe I'm, some people probably think I'm a pussy for it, but I never responded to like hate or bullying as a kid either, because even back then I was just like, I got better things to do with my time. I don't fucking care. Like, I barely can survive school. I'm not going to deal with your shit. Except for, I mean, when I was in elementary school, I really wanted to impress everybody and be like a cool kid. But by the time I got to high school, I was like, nah. And even when I was 15, I had a girlfriend at the time that I really loved. So I was like, I got my girl. I got my friends I smoke weed with secretly. I'm chill. It's cool. And so I just, as I've gotten into adulthood, I think I mentioned this before, at least somewhere, if not like almost everywhere. But it took until like last October for me to like really be fully comfortable. Like, ever since then, I've been really secure as an adult and as a trans woman that like I am me and I don't respond to bullying and stupid shit online or in public or harassment or whatever. Like, it does upset me at times that like if I try dating guys, there's like a million risks to my safety in just trying to date them, especially through dating apps.
Yeah.
But I don't want to close my heart off to that forever. But I'm not going to like just jump into it either. Because again, like, genuinely, I got to take like 6 pills twice a day. Like, you really think I have time to deal with your stupid ass bullshit emotions? Where like at the beginning of the year, I went on a date with a guy, and then after we went on a great date and we did a few things together, he was like, actually, I don't think my emotions are ready for this. And I was like, okay, guy.
Yeah.
I used to be you and do that, but also I was like 16 when I was doing shit like that. So grow up. We're 20. We're like in our mid-20s. Relax.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you're not ready to date, then just think about the fact that you're not ready to date. I'm not saying only guys can do that. It's just only happened to me with guys.
I'm not ready to skydive
think-
while you have the parachute on.
All right, jump out. I promise I'll give you the parachute before we get at least halfway down.
Why go up in the plane if you're not ready to dive?
Why commit the crime if you're not ready to do the time?
I try and just keep my own peace these days. It's like I'm way less concerned about these little people's little problems. No, it's
I'm not concerned with your little opinion.
I'm at a point now where it's like I don't seek out a lot of like outside anything just for the sake of like, as long as I'm just like chill, then I'm fine. I don't need to go out and look for things to be upset about. I can just like stay in my bubble and enjoy my bubble because I'm happy in my bubble. And there's no need to change that, so I won't. And it's a lot less stress to stay in my bubble, so I won't. And it's done great things for me. Because when you're not worried about a whole bunch of other bullshit, and you're just worried about your own bullshit, you can start to think about your own bullshit.
Yeah, that's like a good different way to say what I was saying basically is like, that's why I want to live in like a house with just like a partner and like a yard and some dogs and or cats and live that life. I like the idea of living in like a house in the suburbia because it would be like close enough to society to get to stuff I need to get to, but also far enough away that I can get away from it all if I want to. That's why I liked living in my old neighborhood, is it had a lot of roads with just like forests to walk through. It was really nice. But mainly, yeah, like that, when I said like since last October I've been really secure, like that's what I meant. Like I've been okay staying in my own bubble, not worrying about as many people's shit. Like I've done so much like what's the term? Like self-reflection over the years that I'm pretty, and I don't mean this as like a flex, but just like pretty advanced in the way that I can judge when things really mean something to me. And I still have trouble with that because I'm bipolar as fuck. Like my emotions are not always stable, but being able to be medicated for it and also through therapy, regularly self-therapy, having dope friendships, being super famous and fucking bitches.
Yeah.
I'm pretty chill. Actually, I don't fuck bitches. I'm queer. Huh.
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm the industry, baby.
Industry, baby. Yeah, I think the internet has really just created this illusion that you need to be a part of everything at all times and always be engaging with everything that's happening everywhere all at once. That's a movie.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the last, 11 years of the world.
Yeah, it's like...
It's stupid.
As soon as you can get over that idea of, I need to be a part of this, you don't need to be a part of it. The only thing you need to be a part of is your own life. You need to be a part of, whatever it is that, puts a roof over your head. That's what you need to be a part of, and that's, as far as it goes. You are not obligated to engage with random bullshit on the internet. When somebody starts putting a whole bunch of, bullshit into, a comment section, that's not your cue to don your armor and ride into battle and defend your whatever justice of whatever it is that you believe.
You're not Batman. Stop being Batman.
Yeah, because it's if one dog is barking through a fence, you're like, wow, that's a dumb dog. If two dogs are barking at each other through a fence, you're like, wow, those are both dumb dogs. So you can just let the one person be the dumb dog barking at the fence. You don't have to be the dog on the other side of the fence.
I'm not laughing at your message. I'm just laughing at, wow, that's a dumb dog. You see two dumb dogs? You're like, wow, those are two dumb dogs. You see three dumb dogs? Guess what? There's still three dumb dogs. It's just me. I don't know. There's something about making a
fool
point.
Fool me
with
once,
just,
I'm a dumb dog. Fool me twice, we're both still dumb dogs.
Yeah, fool me three times. Now you, me, and that guy over there are dumb dogs. It just made, I don't know. There's something about putting in a sentimental point with the same repetitive random thing that just made me laugh. It's
you see one burger and you're like, that's a burger. You see two burgers, you're like, that's two burgers.
It's there's something about
just counting.
It's see a whiteboard, you can be like, I could write on that with a dry erase marker. See two whiteboards? Wow, I could write on those with a dry erase marker. See three whiteboards? Wow, I could write on those with a dry erase marker. Or you see two markers. Wow. It's just, I don't know. There was just something about saying it with the dumb dog thing that just sent me. I don't know. But I was going to say also, just to throw in a side note about the actual thing you were getting across, was that a lot of what I've learned also how to do over those years is dumb dog. What I've learned a lot of how to do over the years is learn to stop thinking so deeply into how other people treat me, because sometimes it's easy to misconstrue your friend not immediately laughing at your joke or laughing at every joke you say, because sometimes they just don't think it's funny, but that doesn't mean they hate you now. There are certain jokes that are offensive, but if you just made like a normie joke that you and your friends would always make and they don't laugh, then they're probably just paying attention to something else and they didn't even they didn't even hear it. It just passed through their brain. Like that's how, you know, a lot of this generation is that passive that something like that would happen, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, I used to feel so left out because people, you know, and it sounds really selfish in retrospect, but I was just like untreated bipolar OCD. Like, I think it's pretty fair that I didn't understand my own emotions. And I just assumed that people didn't want to do things with me because they weren't doing things with me. And that I felt really left out because I used to be really left out or like excommunicated from friend groups because they just didn't like me for unexplainable reasons or for undisclosed reasons. Like they wouldn't tell me. And that's something that I got over around that October time last year in 2023. And I'm thankful for that because my friendships and social life in general has been a lot better since then. I mean, like I'll tell you any day, my therapist is like my best friend. Like she and I have great conversations every week. And even though I've been doing better, I still see her every week, which I think you should keep up with your therapist as much as you think you should, regardless if things are going like swimmingly, because you never know when something could fall down. And it's still nice.
I see mine about once a month because my life is slow.
Yeah. But it's also nice to have positive progress reports on stuff and to acknowledge your achievements. And since I forget to do that in a written format, of which my therapist has suggested I do, I kind of just do it when I see her. But that's nice. Plus, the way I've rounded out the organization in my life has also helped me a lot. Like for one of the first times in a while right now, I'm very satisfied with like my home environment in terms of like my specific spaces that I use stuff for. I'm really satisfied with those, which was a huge struggle for me last year. It was mainly an OCD thing, but I would like be up over nights just trying to like fix my room and make it a way I could stand. Like I would sleep in here every night hating this room because I couldn't make it how I wanted it. A lot of it was changing out furniture I had in here, but I still did that and it worked out a lot better.
Oh, yeah, I found the solution now to my organization issue, my layout issue of wanting to have some form of, you know, like being able to sit on my recliner and still be able to do stuff like watch things and play games. The solution to it has been found so simply. It's not, you know, any like weird convoluted setup of like put a TV over here or do whatever with that. No, it's just that whenever I want to do that, I can just move my desk chair out of the way and slide my recliner over about 2 feet. Problem solved. It was really just that easy. And that's been working great for me. I've been doing that like every night. Like actually every night. Because every night I've been capping off my days by trying to keep up and catch up with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Been watching Vinesauce Vinny play that, and I'll just pull up my recliner, just move it over a couple feet, turn off all monitors except one, and just I'll use my Bluetooth headphones for that because it's just nice and convenient. And that's just been nice. That's been like it's a very small amount of effort for the thing that I want, the effect that I'm trying to achieve, and that's been nice. I'm enjoying that. I have two 144 hertz monitors. They're both identical Dell 144 hertz monitors. I've made the executive decision at this point after having both. I had both of them on 144 for a very long time. But then I got a third monitor really cheaply at a thrift store for like $12. I don't even fucking know how. And that's also 1080p 60. So that started drawing a bit more power. I was like, you know what? I can turn this second monitor down to 60 hertz and save on a bit of processing power. Because I don't need that to be 144. I'm not doing stuff on that monitor. And now I've reached the point on my main monitor that I'm like, hang on a second. I stream at 60 FPS. Why would I ever need to go up to 144? I can't even run most shit that I play at 144. Just set that to 60 as well. So I have two 144 hertz monitors that are just running at 60. And it's just fine. Like, sure, I noticed like a little bit of ghosting on my mouse trail for like the first hour that I used it, and everything else after that has been like, yeah, this is fine. I don't need to like overclock the shit out of everything and like I need maximum refresh, maximum frames. Like, no, I don't. Everything is running at 60.
Processor, thinking computer.
If everything's running at 60, you don't need to be running your monitor at more than 60.
Oh, but what about those poor hertz?
Oh, my hertz are hurtsing. Just save all that computer. I could switch everything back to 144 hertz if and only if I got a more powerful power supply. Because my power supply for my computer is not it's like barely, ever so barely enough for what I do and for the hardware that I have in there. And I need to get a new one eventually that's stronger. But for now, it's like my CPU is ever so slightly underclocked. But that means that it can't use its full range. Like if it's at 100%, then it has like even more functionality that's unlocked to it because it has like its own self-regulating systems that is only active at maximum capacity. So if I'm running it below that, then it's like kind of a lot worse than maximum, but it's still fine for what I need. But I do dream of the childhood, getting a more powerful power supply and being able to like actually get like the full power out of my CPU.
It was just weirdly consistent circumstance that I never got a monitor with over 60 hertz because I never knew I could for a long time. And then once I knew I could, I found out all mine were 60 and I was like, I don't think I've ever had 144, but I always turn VSync off in games because it makes them run better for me personally. I always limit my frame rate to like 120 frames, which most games actually do get. It just obviously looks like 60, so it doesn't matter.
VSync is only ever a good thing if your CPU and GPU are like on the same level because they need to communicate for VSync, and if one of them is slower than the other, that's what causes the performance issues.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up I did a lot of research on it when I was doing it. I mean, for example, and it probably has to do with the power supply because I don't know where my PC is plugged in this room right now, but it's definitely plugged in somewhere like specifically powerful to it because, well, I've had it like this for a few weeks, but I have 3 monitors and having 3 monitors used to run a lot worse, but now I really don't know what changed. My PC also does like clean up my CPU every time I start it, which is just a random thing it started doing one day, but it seems to have been improving my stuff because, well, partially that and the power supply because the 3 monitor setup works a lot better now. Like I can run Helldivers, just for example, that's a game that takes a lot to run. I can run Helldivers at like 120 frames with Discord, Apple Music, and Wallpaper Engine going. And I was like, damn, this is working a lot better now. And it felt like fortuitous circumstance because I wanted to set up 3 monitors again. And the way they're set up now, they're really symmetrically accurate, which is really satisfying to me. And I also wanted 3 monitors because sometimes I'm in a Discord call, I watch a video, and I'm playing a game. And so I guess just for my brain to express itself, I needed 3. My normal setup is like whatever I'm doing on my main monitor, usually a game, obviously, Apple Music on one and Discord on the other. But I also wanted specifically 2 extra horizontal monitors because I've had 2 vertical monitors or like 1 horizontal, 1 vertical before. And that just makes me feel cramped. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I understand why people do it. And besides that, I'm just happy. Just wanted to make a note of it that I'm really satisfied with the setup I have now. There are definitely things I could see to improve in it. For example, I mean, I was telling Mia about some audio equipment things I'm going to get for my setup that's going to make it a little cleaner, but that's mainly because my boom arm is a fucking nightmare. It's the stiffest shit I've ever had to use, and I hate it. I spent like 2 hours the other night just fucking with it so I could put it in a good position. Thankfully, it's in a good position right now, but I get paid this week from my job, and I'm going to immediately replace it, and I would be happy to like loan it to someone else if someone else I know needs a boom arm, or I'm just going to keep it for a backup probably. But also, I think I mentioned it to you, but speaking of audio equipment, I just wanted to also say that the same day we were recording the pod, I think in episode 13, I mentioned it, but during that episode recording, I was just like browsing Best Buy, curious to like replace the wireless headphones I bought that I didn't like. And I found these Logitech Pro X ones for $100 off.
Yeah.
So I got them and they're way better, but like they went from $230 to $130 and I was like, holy shit. And I felt like I had to get those SteelSeries ones I didn't like to just like randomly come upon these. And I'm thankful because wireless PC headphones are something I've had my eye on since literally August. So I feel like I got lucky there. I'm very happy. I'm curious, how much does like having wired headphones or wireless headphones or PC equipment in general mean to you? Because I'm gonna pretty soon hear wireless pretty much everything I can because it means a lot to me to be able to like I love moving my keyboard out of the way if I'm gonna like eat food here or use a controller for a game because I can't have my keyboard here. And having it wireless would mean I can move my keyboard like completely out of the way kind of thing.
I always like to have wired for 2 reasons. Actually, three. Three reasons why I always prefer wired. One, don't have to charge anything, don't have to fuck with batteries. It's always just working because it's always plugged in. Two, depending on how old or just what version, like how maybe something got cheaped out on, what version of Bluetooth is in any of that hardware, you could be looking at anywhere from 50 milliseconds to 250 milliseconds of delay. And I am okay with that occasionally, depending on what I'm doing.
Just some milliseconds.
Yeah, it's fine. It's only like a quarter of a second. Like, I am okay with that depending on what I'm doing. Like, if I'm playing, like, this also extends for, like, controllers usually have better latency. Audio stuff always has terrible latency because there's a lot more complex information being encoded. But for controllers, usually the latency isn't bad, and I can get by with wireless depending on what it is. But if I'm playing something like Dark Souls or Sekiro or anything that, like, I want to have, like, my precise timing of everything, then I need to have wired. Third reason why I like wired instead of wireless, I've forgotten.
Well,
oh yeah, it's nice to know when you have it plugged in that it's not going to randomly disconnect, or there's not going to be some random interference. Like my Bluetooth headphones, I was having like this weird cutting out issue that I was having because the frequency band that it was operating on, like, was clashing with my Wi-Fi, which I didn't even have on. It was just the roaming search of the Wi-Fi was causing like an interference in it because they both share the same like pickup, the same antennas on the back of my computer.
Your PC was looking for a Wi-Fi network to connect to?
Yeah, just because like I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, I use Ethernet, but I had like the Wi-Fi on in case of like, the Ethernet, for whatever reason, somebody unplugs it. So like just having that roaming just on, but that was causing an interference. Like, so it's not having to charge anything and worry about batteries, not having to deal with latency, and greatly minimized possibility of it randomly disconnecting.
Yeah, no, I totally get the wired thing. I actually was like that for a long time. And I do like most of my things to be wired. I definitely am not the kind to do like Bluetooth stuff usually. The only main like core part of my setup that was ever Bluetooth was my old Skull Candy headphones that I had from the time I was 17 until I was 23, because just sometime last fall they just like broke one day when I was trying to put them on. They just snapped. Or like one of the headphones, the like way it was attached to the headband part snapped. But I loved those headphones and I used them. I would usually use them to like plug into my microphone input so I could use it, or like just use them wireless with Bluetooth, obviously. But I actually ended up returning it, but I bought this Logitech wireless mouse at Target one day just to try it because it was like $40. And I actually really liked how that mouse felt, and I want to get that specific one again. So I'm probably going to get that one when I do. When I played with it, I played games like Helldivers and like, Slay the Spire. That's not that bad because that doesn't need like immediate mouse movement. But even like Helldivers, I was chill with. And for me, I've always had the policy with products like that like if I don't like it, I can return it. And I'm chill with that, especially somebody who's willing to try wireless. Like you obviously have your stance and it's grounded, and that is totally fair. But for me,
my preference.
Right. Which is totally valid. And if
you like wireless, I will not judge you.
And if you disagree with either of our opinions, you can take a wireless mouse and keyboard and shove them up your ass, and then do the same thing with the wired and pull the wired ones through your mouth.
And then take 3 AA's and also shove them up there because you're going to need them in about a week.
Yeah, and then why not just break a DVD in half and just swallow it? Fuck you. Oh, I do kind of want to go on a tangent about DVD box sets, but regardless, yes. The main thing I'd probably say I have trouble, because like I said, I got these Logitech wireless headphones. I fucking love these. They're like hundreds of dollar quality of headphones. You definitely pay for quality with these, I will admit. I think they're just called the Logitech Pro X Wireless. If you have the money, I definitely recommend them if you like wireless headphones. They last a really long time, and they're also great quality. I mean, if you keep them charged, then you're never going to deal with that much latency. It's totally fine. At least any noticeable latency. I also, personally for me, I just like move around a lot. Like I have ADHD, and one of my main ways I cope with it is pacing. So being able to like run to my closet or run downstairs and get food or drink and still be able to listen to my headphones, like if I'm in a Discord call and I'm listening to the call, or I'm listening to music, or I'm listening to a video. It's dope. I love it. And besides that, the main thing I've had trouble looking for in the market is wireless keyboards, because not because of like I'm worried about latency or like anything like that. There's just a lot of different kinds of keyboards out there. There's like those like colorful ones with like circular buttons. I love the idea of having one of those. Although I don't know if I said this already. I don't think I did, but I'm a much bigger fan of like USB receiver stuff than Bluetooth. I do not want to do like a Bluetooth connection. Like these Logitech headphones have a wireless receiver, and it's really good. It reaches through most of my house.
Well, it is still Bluetooth technically, but it's not like your computer's Bluetooth protocol.
Bluetooth. Yeah,
the Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
That's what I don't want. So I've been looking for keyboards. I also feel kind of bad wanting to get a wireless keyboard because I just got this one and it's a gift and it's really nice. But I mean, I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to get rid of it. I want to use wireless stuff because like I said, I like use the middle of my desk a lot for other stuff too. And the wire on this HyperX keyboard is so thick that like I can't just like move it into a comfortable place to the side or anything, especially because it's surrounded by my Stream Deck and my camera tripod. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would be totally down to just keep it. Also, I have I have like a centerpiece for my monitor arms, and that is also right in front of my keyboard. So I've been able to manage it for the time being. Like I can push my keyboard up just enough to do that. But I actually do, speaking of buying tech from Target, I do also have this new Switch controller I got. I think it's called like an Afterglow one. I think it's just endorsed by Nintendo, but it's not made by Nintendo. It's made by that like Power A brand or something.
Yeah.
But it's really good, and it's been working super well. I think I had a controller by them that was like this cool like retro Pikachu design, but that one got drifted after like 2 months, and I was pissed.
I had a Power A GameCube style, and that broke after like a few months.
I had the GameCube ones. I bought 2 of them when they came out.
The most recent controller that I've bought was a Power A Xbox style controller, and that did work fantastically, long enough to play Sekiro, and that's about as long as it lasted, because after that it got drift.
Well, I mean, you know what Sekiro does to a motherfucker.
That controller, it cost like $18, and it lasted just long enough to play Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring, and Sekiro.
I'm sending you now the image of my controller because it looks dope. It's awesome.
It's fancy.
Yeah, I also sent a video of the controller lighting up because the colors like wave through the controller. But yeah, it's a really nice controller. Like
mouse.
I would recommend this one. You can also change the color settings. I would recommend this one, but I don't want to recommend shit because I'm afraid. So I don't want people to blame
mouse that I've needed to replace for so long because the left clicked on it is like kind of fucky.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a color changing LED that like lights up the whole thing, but you cannot turn it off or set it to one solid color. It's always pulsing.
It pulses?
Well, not pulsing. It's always shifting.
It's like moving like this controller.
Yeah, it's like always going from one color to another.
When you said pulsing, I thought you meant like a breathing color effect, and I was like, that sounds annoying.
Yeah, it's just I can't set it to one color. I can't turn it off. I just live with it.
Yeah, I have a Corsair mouse that I got for like $50 from Target, which by the way, computer mouse is not worth $50. Get off your high horse. But
even
anyway.
my humidifier has RGB.
Let's go. Keeping that air clean, RGB style.
Thankfully, that has like if I just hold the button, it turns off the lights because like it's I don't want to sleep with that running.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like everything has RGB now. Literally everything. It was like an unimaginable luxury to have like 20 years ago. Like, whoa, color changing lights. How fancy.
Did they
and
have
now
shit
it's
like
in
that 20 years ago?
No, not really. Not in any convenient method because that was before the advent of LEDs became everything. So it would have to be like anything that was color changing, it would have to be a dedicated bulb for each color, and it would take up a lot more space and it would burn out a lot easier and get hotter.
Yeah.
So that's why anything that could change color before was like, whoa. And then LEDs came along that could change color. And whoa. Like, whoa, but it's cheaper. And now it's in everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like elementary school backpacks with RGB in them. Like, it's
there are. I've seen
everything.
them.
Wow. What else have you seen, Mr. Special or Mrs. Special Princess. Wow.
There!
I was gonna say Mr. Special Princess, but I was gonna say like Mr. Smart Guy, but that's because I hang out with a bunch of dudes who only gawk over One Piece all the time. So my bad.
I don't know. You remember those? It was like a thing like 10 years ago or so, maybe a bit more, where like so many different like shirts or jackets or whatever would have like, so they'd have like a crawl space for your headphone cable.
Oh, like jackets and stuff.
Yeah, there'd be like
sense.
like
I've
an
never seen that,
inside
though.
like whatever.
But that does make sense.
I remember seeing like jackets and things that like they had like a cable that ran inside of them, so you could plug your headphones in at one side of it,
Yeah.
and like your other thing would connect on the other whatever. It's like that's man.
It's like women's underwear
Weird
that
times.
has a travel tube for a man's penis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now there's RGB everything.
What I just DM'd you on Discord though is this specific effect that's like the one I have all the time on my HyperX keyboard. It's called Cotton Candy, and the colors on it are just super pretty. But I can customize the colors. I honestly might fuck around with it today because I haven't fucked around with it that much. But I haven't fucked around with my ex in a while, and I just kind of miss her, so I might do something today. But anyway, but it is nice.
I liked having on my Razer keyboard for a while the color changing. Like I would have it as like a sort of like orangey red like background
Dude, I have
glow
one
that
like
would
that.
pulse like slightly, just lightly pulsing, or like it would just like shift up and down. And I had like a second effect on top of it that would have like this kind of like like rippling fire kind of thing. Like it would just like kind of be like a campfire kind of effect on top of that. So there was just a constant glow, and then the like the raising flames and whatever. And that was nice to have for a little bit, but then I realized that like I don't ever look at my keyboard enough for that to matter, and it's just slowing down my computer.
That's totally fair. Again, I was mostly what's usually slowed my computer down is like having too many monitors or too many things open at the same time. This is
Too many bottles of Bacardi.
too many programs.
Too
Isn't that the too many cooks thing? Because in high school we did an intro for our monthly show one time that was based on that, and it was really funny. But
I'll take your word for it.
actually, I can show you. I have.
I'll take your word for it.
Is that to imply you don't care and don't want to see it?
Maybe.
Well, I can respect that. I can't respect you though. That's fucked up.
That was a thing that I fucking the other day. Me and my sibling were talking about like it'll happen just regularly that I'll make some kind of reference to some meme, and then I'll ask like, do you know that meme? And if the answer is like no, then I'll like explain it a little bit. And it's like we have this back and forth that was like, thank you for explaining this meme to me. However, I will not be pursuing it in my own time, and I will trust the rendition that you have given to me.
Thank you for explaining this meme to me.
I trust that your telling of this story is just as good as watching the original, and will not look it up.
I will say, I would love to hear more about this Adventure Time lore, but you explaining the first half of it to me feels like enough that I feel very complete knowing the entire story. So I'm going to walk away now and commit this to no part of my memory.
Exactly that.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Me and my siblings have done stuff like that too, but we usually only it's like when my sisters talk to me about their obsessions with female music artists that I don't listen to, but I'm more so willing to give it a chance. Like I don't know if you remember this about me. Also, if it's cool, I'd love this episode to go extra long because also the WWE draft started. I'd love to talk about that a little bit. But well, are you okay with the episode going like 20 more minutes? Or how much time do you have left?
I think like I can do 20.
Okay.
That just means that it's gonna take longer to edit, and as long as I let me check my calendar before I say
honestly,
yes.
I'm this is gonna be my first week off of school. If you want, I can edit this one since I'm making it go longer. I really can this time. I won't stop at like
if we're doing
minutes.
this longer, you're gonna have to do that because I'm busy for like all but 2 days this week.
Yeah, no, I got it. What was I about to start talking about? I know I was gonna talk about the draft after, but what was it? Do you know what I start? Oh, no, I remember. I was gonna say I don't know if you remember this about the old me. Sorry, old Emmy can't come to the phone right now because she's dead or whatever. But anyway, I was gonna say I don't know if you remember this about me, but I used to be way more of a show my own media off than like consume media people would suggest to me. Even though I still did that, I would personally deep down prefer that I show my media to other people. And my sisters recognize this about me because I've gotten just like gradually better at it over time. It used to be really bad when I was like a teenager and stuff. I was really closed off to like consuming other people's media that would be suggested or whatever. If somebody suggested a show or like a show was like really popular or a music artist was really popular, I would never listen to their shit. It was around the time I started TikTok in 2019 that I would care enough to check it out. And now I'm like willing to give like everything a chance. Like I said earlier, I watched the first episode of One Piece and then got hooked enough that I'm almost finished with Alabasta, which is episode 130. I'm just proud that I made it past episode 100. Like most of Alabasta I watched in the last like 2 or 3 days. But I don't know if you remember how closed off I was, just because we've known each other for 4 years. But I was a lot more open to stuff than like my mid-teens and late teens by then. And I'm honestly like curious if you have a better memory to recall my closed offness than I do. But like the most I took from back then probably was starting to let people like run things more in like friend groups and stuff. Cause I used to also be like a huge control freak about like friend events and stuff. Like the biggest thing I probably did first that was completely out of my control was Zoom S&P, but I was just like on a streaming hype train because we were all doing streams back then when like Chandler started streaming, and that was only like a few months after Boomer started streaming. You were already pretty established as a streamer. I had been established as a streamer for a few years by then, but I was coming from TikTok, so I had an actual audience. The biggest thing I took in terms of somebody showing me media back then, I would argue almost wholeheartedly that it was EXO Society, because you showed me Rav and Kill Bill, and I was so starstruck by the music that they still top my charts every year to this day. And I have a whole playlist. Like their vibe fits really well with my friend Mark, who makes music, aka Kid Crow, on streaming services. I would go listen to it. I would just search like one of his songs, like Get High by Kid Crow or Tombs by Kid Crow, because you will just find the Conan Gray album if you just search Kid Crow. You're never going to find my friend. But he's been talking about music. I think I've also said this like a million times. I'm so sorry for repeating myself, but he talked about music all the time when we were kids, because we've been kids. We've been best friends since 5th grade summer school, because we both failed a class in summer school. And then thankfully we got out of that because we probably wouldn't have hung out as much as we did. But I had like 3 other friends growing up, and 2 of them were terrible drug addicts and are still terrible drug addicts to my knowledge. But Mark just like smokes weed and makes music. His music is like so good. Like I'm actually a huge fan of his music. You know, to be fair, wholeheartedly, Atlanta is where some of the best shit comes from, and we're from Atlanta. So
ATL.
I'll represent that. You know, much like my favorite song, Wish We Could Turn Back Time.
Oh.
To the good old days when the mamas sing, brush your teeth and go to bed.
I came on the radio the other day and I got fucking like war flashbacks.
Triggered.
It was like I was in the car with my grandma, and it was like the radio was down so low that I could barely hear it, and I was like, oh god, it just wormed its way in.
Having a song like that low volume in a car with somebody somebody that I'd be uncomfortable sharing how much I hate a song with that song playing at like a quiet volume, I'd probably jump out the window. And if I like broke all my limbs, they'd be like, why'd you do it? I'd be like, I was stressed out. Anyway, I was just going to wrap up the music thing by saying, like, with my friend, this is the reason I would super recommend that any of you who enjoy like hip hop or rap or anything like that you check out my friend Mark's music. I'll even add his pages on like Apple Music and Spotify to the description of this podcast, so you can look down below if you want to go to those. But you can also find him in the description of my videos. He's in the description of my videos as my outro music, because he let me use Tombs for the outro music, and I think I'm gonna ask him if I can switch my outro music to his song Semi. But in that song in particular, that's like my favorite song of his right now. He uses a Mario Kart sound effect in one of his bars, and it fits so well. He's like, I roll that block, baby boy, and I throw that remover, and Roll That Block has the sound behind it, and I was like Mark, I love you. Yeah, no, it's so dope. And the funny thing about Mark is I went through 2 phases of like listening to like 5 singles he had already released and falling in love with those and listening to those forever. And then this year I also went back and listened to like 5 new singles of his since then and also loved all those. So I just, he really like puts love and effort into what he does. I would definitely like, if you also grew up playing video games and you smoke weed, you'll probably love his music. I would honestly love to show off more of his music. I at one point, actually, I helped him make an album cover for a SoundCloud EP he released. And also, at one point, we had planned to make music videos for his channel, but I don't really like committing to other people's projects unless they're like simple enough that I can do, like Boomer's upcoming project TMTL in Minecraft. Like, I can play Minecraft, but I don't think I could produce a music video right now, especially like being in the lead of it, like directing it. I don't have that kind of thing in me right now.
I remember that being something that like a couple years ago that you brought up to me, was like that prospect of like, if you were going to do that, then like I would have the opportunity to like edit said video.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way we work together also has evolved so much over the years because of how many projects we've pursued together and how many things we've worked on for specifically my channels as well. Yeah,
there's a project that you asked me to hop on back in like November or December, and you're like, hey, you want to help me with this project? And that project still hasn't happened, but I'm still here.
No, it hasn't happened because I am still working on, I need to like get clips for it and figure out what I'm going to say in it. We were working on a channel trailer for the Cosmic Emerald channel on YouTube. Or sorry, that was what we talked about working on. And I just like brought Mia on because Mia made a trailer for my merch one time. And I was like, hey, would you like to help me work on editing this project? And Mia was like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. I mean, I've done so much like trailer work over the years now, with the merch promo all the way back in the MIS days, and then all of the Big Wow Big promos, and then the closing shift promo. I feel like I've got a good rep under my belt for like different styles of that.
The exploding TV trailer for Big Wow Big's return was pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's iconic.
I love that it's like on the note, like meow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do sometimes long for the days that we just got to sit down a few times a week and record us playing games. I think that's like the hardest part of it, is we would do it like every day if we could, but it was like too efficient of a process and we got so far ahead.
Yeah, we did do it every day that we could.
Right, like we were alpha rad plusing it, but still trying to upload, still trying to continue to film. I think that's why like doing, and obviously we still haven't started this project or planned for it very much, but doing the streams I think would be better, because then, we can like set up a schedule and then be like, all right, half of the stream today we're going to play this game for a few hours, and the other half we're going to play this game for a few hours or whatever, and kind of block it.
You and we go together like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
How do they go together?
Every single project that Tim Burton makes always has to have Johnny Depp in it.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. But yeah, I guess we do. We go together like the words Nintendo and Switch.
We go together like peanut butter and more peanut butter.
We go together like a slice of bread and another slice of bread. I am very proud of my titling of my playlist that has my Exo-Society music and my friend Mark. I was gonna say, if you're an EXO fan, then you'll probably also like my friend Mark's music. It's very similar, but it's EXO and Kid Crow, and I really like that name. And my cover for that playlist is some dope Rav fan art I found on Twitter a few years ago. I think, let me see if I can find it in my camera roll and I can credit the artist.
Yeah, go stream Get Mine Too by Kid Crow.
Yes, Kid Crow featuring Kid Crow. I will say his song Get High and him as an artist topped my Spotify charts last year, and I texted him and was like, dude, you were on my shit. And he was like, oh, lit. I also posted on my Instagram story his song Semi and talked about the Mario Kart sound effect and whatever. And he DM'd me when I sent that, and he was like, hey, you a real one. Not everyone notices that.
It's not even too, like, it's pretty often that I see in either TikTok comments or wherever, people with Rav profile pictures. I see like surprisingly a lot. Usually it'll be like the cover for That's Me, but like there's like a couple others that I'll see from time to time.
Dude, I have a random picture of a dog from 2 years ago that we just saw walking around our neighborhood with no leash or anything. He was cool. Anyway,
I remember one time I saw this dog being walked down the street. I was hanging out with a friend, and we were, coming out of his neighborhood. And on the way out of the neighborhood, we saw this person walking their dog, and their dog was the fattest chihuahua that I have ever seen in my entire life. And it wasn't like a flabby fat chihuahua. It was like a pure cylinder, and it waddled. It straight up waddled.
It was like SpongeBob in that episode where he gets put in the the can.
I
Can't believe it's been almost 2
think
years
that's how you
since-
know like life is over for you when your walk is described as a waddle.
I think that's when you just get started.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I had a huge thing for literal humor back in the day. I have this meme that says, well, in that case, and it's a picture of a well inside of a suitcase.
Boo.
No, it's awesome. It's so funny.
Boo.
I'm sending it to you because you're disrespecting it. Well, in that case. Also, just side note, I want to send you this one because this one does not need any words.
Oh my god.
But it's just Squidward with this woman with this fat ass falling into his mouth in the episode where it's the watermelon.
You know, there's like a humor in the modern age that goes unappreciated. The fact that you can just put a picture in front of somebody's eyes at any time instantaneously. Like, you can just be talking about something, and a moment later, it's like, it's presented in front of me against my will. You're just like, fuck you, you're looking at this meme now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame when people use that kind of thing to their advantage to spread nasty stuff like that thing that was going around TikTok a while ago. Sorry, also, I just saw from a meme I have 2 years ago, Bubble Enthusiasts hearing about pop culture, and it's the picture of John Cena super upset. But I was gonna say, there was that video, somebody streamed themselves shooting themselves in the head on Facebook Live, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And people were putting nice videos of puppies and stuff on TikTok, and then it would just cut to that video. That kind of thing is people have always said the internet is the most useful thing on the planet and also the most hateful thing on the planet. And it's a shame.
We're about one step away from being able to just stream something into somebody's brain, but just being able to just put something in front of somebody's eyes instantaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they're opening up a letter with a picture in it where they can sort of see over the corner and they're like, nope, that's not something I want to see. You open up your screen and it's there. Sometimes you just scroll a social media and you're just like, a meme. A meme. An erect penis. A meme.
A meme. A meme. 9/11. A meme.
A 9/11 meme.
Oh no, wait. Go back.
I'm at the 9/11. I'm at the meme. I'm at the combination 9/11 meme.
I just found the picture of I know his name is Max. Does Goofy's son Max have a last name? Is it just also Goofy?
Their last name is Goof.
Is it really?
It is.
Interesting. I didn't know that. But anyway, I was going to say, I have this picture of Max from the Goofy franchise skateboarding, kick-flipping over a background image of weed. It says, "Cool government, mind if I cum on it?"
That's a classic meme.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. No, we used to quote it all the time. I also have a picture of the Drake meme that's and then that's gender rules? Nah. Cake rolls? Yes. You remember the "Hey brother" meme with me in the dress?
Yes.
I just found that as well. I'm still looking for that Rav fan art. I wanted to talk about that artist. I took a picture. This is around the time I started playing Magic the Gathering Arena. I just Googled an image of the murder card and I just started sending it to people when they'd say something I don't like.
Murder.
That was interesting. Let me see here. Again, I'll edit this episode as long as it goes. I don't mind.
Fuck it. I'll waste anybody's time.
Well, if you run out of time, let me know for sure.
Nah, I'm fine.
Something else that's a shame is when you have memes from people who aren't cool anymore on your phone from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Or just memes that you're why the fuck was I into that? I made a porn account using my school email. It's a disgustingly realistic image of a green bird from Angry Birds. I also have I have a picture of Mysterio screaming into the camera from Far From Home, and it's Spider-Man's name is gay porn. Look him up on your school computer. It's so funny. I love that image. Oh yeah. I can't remember the exact caption, but it's that meme. I guess we're doing meme review now. My bad. I'll talk about the WWE draft in a little bit. It's just a picture of a banana-shaped car, and then the guy from the Black Ops 1 cover being is that a banana car?
I cannot believe it.
Oh, do you remember the eBay image? It's really blurry, but the picture of the kid and it says Craig $7.
Yeah.
Oh man, that one's crazy. I still have just old screenshots of Amazon return codes too. Damn it, where is that fucking Rav meme? I know it was in the spring of whatever year it was. I think it was 2022. Let me ask a completely random thing while I'm looking for this. What is your favorite Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track? In terms of music and track? Yeah.
Man, I haven't played enough to like really have a favorite because there's still some tracks that I just like haven't even really played.
That's fair. I was honestly kind of afraid of that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one that I got to think about a little bit.
What's your favorite Hot Wheels car? Mine is Fire Fury.
I think I like the track that's like it's one of the like base game first. It's one of the base game cups. It's the one where it's like in a desert, and it starts with like it starts with like a curve that's like too narrow to drift around, and then it goes into like and then it widens and then it narrows into like these wooden bridges and then like this
The desert, you said?
yeah
The Cheeseland?
maybe I don't know.
Cheeseland's kind of like a desert. It has a curve at the beginning that's like impossible to drift around.
I don't think it's Cheeseland. It's like it's all desert. It has like a path that like it splits into two at some point. These two paths that like there's either a wider drift or a narrow drift, and if you take the narrow one, it takes you into a wall ride, into a glide. I like that one.
Yeah. What's your favorite like track based on its music? I'm curious if you have one. Mine personally is probably Sweet Sweet Canyon. I love Sweet Sweet Canyon's music. I don't like the track that much, but I love the music from that track.
I just don't even remember Mario Kart music.
That's fair.
I can never like it's the same way with like Dark Souls music where like I would recognize the song if I heard it, but I could not tell you where it came from. The only like Dark Souls boss that I like, there's only two bosses in Dark Souls that I know like whose music is whose, and that's Vort because his is the most famous like ho 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 ho, and Soul of Cinder because his is the pling pling plong.
Okay.
Those are like the only two that like I could tell you by name. That's always how I am with any video game music. I can't tell you where it came from, but I can tell you that I know it.
Fair. Dude, I'm going to lose my mind. I've been through like an entire year of camera roll. I'm going to find it, goddammit. Let me talk about the WWE draft while I wait. So, or while you wait, I guess, while I work. Just waiting on my ass. But anyway, I was going to say that, so if you don't know, the WWE draft started, well, it already happened for you guys. It started a week ago last Friday for you guys. It's Sunday for us, so it happened 2 days ago. And it continues tomorrow, Monday night on Raw. So it like starts on Friday, goes over to Monday. And what they do is have 4 rounds, 4 picks per round, so total 16 picks per night. And basically everyone is like brandless at the time. There's already like established Raw and SmackDown superstars, but anybody can get claimed by anybody. So if there's already a Raw superstar that Raw wants to keep, then they can just claim like the superstar. Like Raw took main event Jey Uso even though he was already there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by basically everyone's brandless at the time. Also, side note, I have a picture. Apparently I sent you, I can only imagine I took this to send it to you, but I took a picture of me installing new Pokemon Snap around the time we would have filmed it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I sent it to you like, I know what we're going to play tomorrow.
Scroll back 2 years in the Discord logs.
Yeah, I remember I went up to the top of it one time and it was just like Dead Name City.
Yeah.
Also, there was, I have to look up the results, which would be a shame because I'm already scrolling through years of camera roll. Thing is, okay, I know it's not 2020 because I didn't know. I know it was sometime around the spring of 2021 or 2022. I've just been through the entirety of spring in both, and I'm pissed because I can't fucking find this bullshit. Looks like they couldn't handle the Neutron style.
My meme's gone. My meme's gone.
I wish I at least like knew the tweet or something, but it was so long ago. Oh yeah, and I still have my wonderful picture. It's a picture of like a promotion picture of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man climbing up a building, but it's instead of his head, it's the CGI Scooby-Doo head.
You know,
but still covered in the mask material.
I like the idea of like having smart home assistants and things that you can just like use voice commands and whatever for like whatever functions hands free. I like the idea of it conceptually, but in practice, there is nothing that I feel is more embarrassing to do personally than talking to my phone. Like if I am giving like a command to Siri, I am just so embarrassed to be speaking to this thing.
That's interesting. I understand though. Also, I'm fucking pissed. I found this art and the artist didn't like sign their art. So never mind. My bad.
Damn.
You didn't have to see it anyway, so it's not like whatever. It's not like we used it. I just wanted to mention it. It's really dope art though, okay? Just trust.
We got to do
So anyway, let me look up the WWE draft results.
We ought to do what the podcast Late Night. I like how they do things where if they have an image that they want to share that they talk about, they put it on their Instagram. So it just becomes like, if something gets referenced, like a picture gets referenced, then you can go to their Instagram and like see what they're talking about.
Yeah. What's nice is I'll have more opportunity to I would like somewhat to advertise the YouTube channel as having a video format to the show, just so we can like show images and stuff like that. Because there's always cool. I mean, we obviously wouldn't use art if we couldn't credit the artist, but like,
Yeah.
if we wanted to, we could credit the artist. And like, once you guys start drawing fan art of us because we're so cool, we can put a thing of what the fuck am I trying to say? We can put a picture of fan art at the top.
Put a carousel.
Yeah. Just scroll through a bunch of fan art, and we might credit you if you subscribe to the channel. Okay.
There has to be somebody who's done that that's like, if you want me to credit your meme, make sure to donate on Patreon.
Yeah. Make sure to donate to our coffee, and we might give you that.
When I see the words DM for credit, I immediately get a murderous instinct in my eyes.
Boomer actually recently had a DM experience where an artist like led him on and made him like reply a few times just to like be like, I could draw art for you for your channel if you want. Here's some of my work. And he was like,
No, it always goes like that, yeah.
oh yeah. He was like, yeah, no.
No, that happens so much on Discord now. Just like random bot joins server, starts messaging people. Hey, ya.
Yeah, no, I've put a lot of protocol in front of my Twitch chat and my Discord server so people can't do that as easily.
It's a nice thing in the Discord moderation that they do now where you'll see it in like the moderator logs. It's like suspicious DM activity. It's like if somebody joins and starts messaging everybody, then you know. Although I probably should find whatever setting it is that just makes it so members can't message other members unless they're friended.
Right. So anyway, I've got the WWE draft results here, and you're probably not. Well, you probably know most of these guys.
Ooh, you're not gonna like it.
No, it's pretty cool, but thankfully, I like looking up WWE Wikipedia stuff because they list it very easily to understand. Like, they have color-coded brands of where they were pre-draft and post-draft.
Ah.
So yeah, the first pick in round 1 was Bianca Belair, and she just stayed on SmackDown. She got picked for SmackDown again, and her and Jade Cargill have been a power couple, which is awesome because they are two very strong, muscular, beautiful black women. I fucking love them. And then the second pick in round 1, to my understanding, they have it like the number is listed weird, but the next pick was Jey Uso. He's staying on Raw, as I mentioned earlier.
Main event Jey Uso.
I don't know why. There's a part of this list that says role, and it just says like male or female wrestler. Oh, there's a manager that got drafted too, so it says manager. But anyway,
Randy Orton got drafted to female wrestler.
well, Randy Orton was part of the draft, but I'll get to that. Next was Carmelo Hayes, finally moving from NXT to SmackDown, which was cool. He's like been one of the biggest stars on NXT for a while, so I'm happy he finally got moved up. But he actually challenged Cody Rhodes for a match, and his first match on SmackDown was against Cody Rhodes, which is lit.
Damn.
Because Cody Rhodes was able to like put him over without actually losing to him. Because like the new WWE Undisputed Champion losing to an NXT guy would look bad.
Yeah.
Even though Carmelo Hayes still got put over and he earned Cody's respect clearly, and it was a good match. Seth freaking Rollins got kept on Raw. Randy Orton got kept on SmackDown. Braun Breaker went from SmackDown to Raw, actually, which I also found out he's from Atlanta, which is cool. Nia Jax got drafted from Raw to SmackDown, and I'll move on because who cares? Liv Morgan got drafted from Raw to Raw. She's still on Raw. LA Knight also got picked to stay on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Ricochet got picked to stay on Raw. A lot of people got picked to just stay where they were, but that does kind of make sense. The Bloodline also, the entire Bloodline, which is not Roman Reigns anymore, but that's a whole other story for another day. I'll explain to you. But
Roman Reigns at Disneyland right now.
The Bloodline now is just made up of like Solo Sikoa, a new member of the Bloodline that they've introduced named Tama Tonga, who was a indie guy, but he just got brought onto SmackDown, and they've just been pretty much beating the shit out of. Like, Solo Sikoa has been, like, taking over the Bloodline because he doesn't feel like Roman Reigns, like, has the right to be Tribal Chief anymore, as far as I can tell. So, anyway, Solo, Tama, and Paul Heyman all got drafted to stay on SmackDown. Sheamus got drafted.
Getting drafted is kind of funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer at this point, and he just, they just drafted the whole Bloodline because they're not trying to do a storyline really split up right now.
Yeah, it's just funny to, like, draft a non-wrestler where it's like, you know, he's just gonna be where the other people are.
Yeah, they've done that before, where they drafted a manager or somebody else, but there's been a lot of different managers over time. Sheamus got drafted from SmackDown to Raw. AJ Styles was picked to stay on SmackDown, which makes sense because he's in a feud with Cody Rhodes right now. Also, side note, well, let me just say the last two of the thing, but the Alpha Academy, which is made up of literally 4 wrestlers, was picked to stay on Raw, which is Chad Gable, Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree.
Oh, I forgot about Otis.
My boy Otis, I love Otis. Andrade was drafted from Raw to SmackDown, and Kiana James was the last pick drafted from NXT to Raw, and she seems very cool. She actually, for some reason, I've never seen her, so I didn't know this about her, but her lore is that she's like a really powerful businesswoman, like actual, and also a very powerful wrestler. She like actually runs like businesses, like she knows how. She's like super crazy.
That's cool.
It's super cool. Yeah, I love that. Also, I was going to say, I didn't realize this because it was never like explicitly explained, but Cody Rhodes is now a SmackDown superstar because the undisputed WWE championship was on SmackDown because of Roman Reigns. And I didn't even think about that, but he's just on SmackDown now. And I didn't even think about it because they just like advertised him as a SmackDown superstar, but he was on Raw for like the last few weeks and they just never mentioned it. It was also cool to see like the Dudley Boys come back to announce round 3, Teddy Long and JBL, Michelle McCool and Tori Wilson. It was cool. Cody Rhodes and Triple H announced the first round. Also, sorry, I bumped my mic there. But yeah, I guess, well, was there any interesting things to expand upon in that for you?
I'm just wondering still, I guess like if all of Bloodline is over there, it's just, I do wonder when we're going to see Roman Reigns again. Because he is just on vacation and has been for a while, like mega vacation.
Yeah, he posted a video to his Instagram that was just captioned simply day 1, and it was him in the gym working out. So I think he's going to like train and then come back. I don't know if he's ever going to win that championship again. The Rock has also hinted that he's going to come back at some point because I don't think he's done, obviously. But he had to like he just said like straight up The Rock has to leave or whatever. Didn't we watch that really awkward segment on Raw, or was that me and Chandler?
You and Chandler.
I think I
watched that.
I think I told
we
you
talked about it.
Yeah. But both the Final Boss and the Tribal Chief will eventually come back. Although I'm curious, I think the Bloodline's really going to fall apart because Paul Heyman has been like afraid of Solo Sikoa because Solo Sikoa has been like majorly taking over the Bloodline. Because I kind of noticed it at WrestleMania. Solo got like really mad at Roman Reigns for like not doing enough. So I think he just like him and Tama Tonga are just like Tama Tonga has become to Solo Sikoa what Solo used to be to Roman Reigns, which was like the there's like a word for it, but basically like the main card of the Bloodline.
I think that the Bloodline is going to get taken over and then it's just going to start to like dissolve from that point. As soon as there's like a change of leadership within the Bloodline, it's going to start to dissolve and everybody's going to start different things.
Right. What was crazy was that last Monday, every single Raw faction started breaking apart like individually on Monday. Every single Raw group had like a fight or somebody who like turned heel against the group. Like every single one, like Judgment Day, Alpha Academy, some other one. Like I think the strongest put together one, just because they have not hinted at them falling apart at all, is like the Street Profits, that woman that hangs out with them, and Bobby Lashley. But a great match that's coming up, I will say, is that the Street Profits have become the number 1 contenders for Miz and Truth's championships, and I really would like Miz and Truth to keep them, but they also just rebranded the tag team championships and they look a lot nicer now, so that's kind of cool.
Here's what's going to happen. Roman Reigns is going to come back, and him and Seth freaking Rollins are going to they're going to pop out some folding chairs in the middle of the ring, and they're going to have a little sit down, and they're going to reform the Shield.
Bonfire in the ring.
I've seen so many clips, so many it's stuff that I wish I would have seen before he was dethroned, of like all these different clips and things of Roman Reigns being like a fun guy and like really entertaining stuff like respect the Shield. It's like, man, I would have liked him a whole lot more if I would have seen all that before all this stuff happened, and I would have like had a better time seeing him in all these matches. But I've just been enjoying all of those of like more. I really hope that now with him not being in the top spot, that Roman Reigns can start to have more of a personality again.
There's also like where CM Punk fits into all this, and he's in the draft pool on Monday, so that's interesting. I don't think I think if he gets drafted, he's just gonna stay on Raw though.
How many matches has he actually had now?
CM Punk, he's only had the Royal Rumble because he got injured.
Still just the one.
Yeah, but
crazy.
I think sometime in the late summer he'll be back to wrestling. And he still has this whole thing with Drew McIntyre that like Sheamus like flamed him on when they did that promo, where he was like, I can lose the weight. You can't lose the stupid.
That's good.
Because everyone was talking about how like Sheamus put on weight since the last time he was there. And he was like, and Drew McIntyre was like, I defended you in the locker room while those guys were talking shit about you. He was like, I don't care that they're talking shit. Like, I love Sheamus. Sheamus popped off way more than I thought he would. Like, as a kid, like, he came in around the time I was a kid, and he started as just like this like random guy, and he won the WWE Championship like 2 months into being on the roster against John Cena because of a tables match, which most people think was by accident because John Cena like fell into the tables, but he's held his own, and he's definitely become a future Hall of Famer. He's also hilarious. But I guess we should wrap up this XL episode, huh?
Yeah, this is going to be, I think this is the longest one we've had.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. It's the longest one we've had.
Yep.
But, you know, we do it for you.
We do it for you. We do it for the wonderful people at home who are listening to us in their ears, having our sound waves blasted straight into their craniums. And the sound waves, they say,
Donate to the coffee, ko-fi/closing shift show.
Yes, thank you for all donations we've received so far, and thank you for listening on your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to subscribe to it on your favorite platform so you don't miss a new episode every Friday.
Bye.